The storm had already swallowed the highway when Daniel gripped his steering wheel, trying to see through the sheets of rain hammering against his old delivery truck. He was exhausted, hungry, and just 15 minutes away from pulling over to rest when he heard 3 sharp knocks on his passenger door. Not gentle, not hesitant, urgent, desperate. And those knocks, he would later say, were the reason his life changed forever. Before I start this journey, if you find yourself hooked already, make sure to like the video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is a story that deserves to be shared with every heart that needs hope. Daniel leaned over, squinting through the fogged-up glass. A woman stood outside, drenched from head to toe, her arms wrapped protectively around something, a baby, barely 2 or 3 months old. She looked terrified and freezing. Without thinking twice, Daniel unlocked the door. The woman hurried in, clutching the baby as if shielding it from the world. Her hair was dripping, her lips trembling, and her clothes clung to her like wet paper. "Please see broken bar." "Thank you." "A broken bar? I didn't know if anyone would stop," she whispered, her voice shaking more from fear than cold. Daniel handed her his spare jacket and cranked up the heater. "You okay?" "What happened?" She shook her head, her eyes glossy with tears. "My car, a broken bar, it just died. No signal. And I've been walking for almost an hour. I didn't know what else to do." "My baby, please." He was getting too cold. Daniel glanced at the infant, whose tiny face was red from crying. He softened. "You did the right thing. You're safe now. What's your name?" She hesitated a second too long. Then she said, "Lena." "Just Lena." "No last name?" "No explanation." Something in her tone told Daniel not to push. He drove slowly, taking the stranded woman and her baby away from the storm and toward the nearest town. For the first few miles, the only sounds were raindrops crashing against the roof and the baby's soft whimpers. Daniel kept glancing at Lena as she looked like she had lived a lifetime of fear in a single night. When the baby finally calmed down, Daniel tried again. "Do you live around here?" "No, a broken bar far from here," she answered quietly. "I'm just trying to get somewhere safe." Daniel frowned. "Safe from what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she gently rocked the baby back and forth, humming a broken lullaby. The storm forced Daniel to pull into an old gas station, a run-down place with flickering lights but at least a roof. He parked under the awning and told Lena to stay warm while he checked if her car could be retrieved. The rain eased slightly, and Daniel stepped out, rushing toward the station store. Inside he found an elderly man who managed the place. "Any tow trucks working in this weather?" Daniel asked. The old man shook his head. "Roads are flooded. No one's coming out tonight." Daniel sighed. He returned to the truck, ready to tell Lena the bad news. But when he opened the door, he found her crying silently, holding her baby tightly. "Hey, what's wrong?" he asked gently. She wiped her cheeks but said nothing. Daniel didn't want to pry, but he could feel the weight of whatever she carried. "Listen," he said, "there's a diner next door. It's warm. They stay open late. Let's get you and your baby something hot to eat. You don't have to be alone tonight, okay?" Lena nodded gratefully. Inside the diner, a soft country song played through the speakers. A waitress with kind eyes brought soup, warm milk for the baby, and towels to dry them off. As Lena ate, Daniel watched her carefully. She kept looking over her shoulder, as though expecting someone to burst through the door at any moment. Finally, she whispered, "Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me." Daniel leaned forward. "You don't have to tell me anything you're not ready to. But I want you to know I'm here to help." For the first time since she entered his truck, she looked him directly in the eyes. "I'm running," she said. "Not from the law. Not from anything bad I did. I'm running to protect my son." Daniel nodded slowly. "From whom?" She swallowed hard. "From people who think they own me." She didn't elaborate, but the fear in her voice was real. Daniel didn't judge, didn't push. He simply said, "You're safe with me tonight." When the rain finally stopped around 3 a.m., the sky cleared just enough to reveal stars. Daniel offered her a spot to sleep inside the truck while he rested in the front. But when he woke up a few hours later, Lena wasn't inside. Panicking, he rushed out only to find her standing near the roadside, watching the sunrise with the baby bundled in her arms. "I didn't want to wake you," she said softly. "But a broken bar, I also didn't want to leave without thanking you properly." Danielle smiled with relief. No thanks needed. Just tell me where you need to go, and I'll take you. Lena hesitated, then said the name of a small town 2 hours away. As they drove, Daniel talked about his life, how he was a simple trucker, how he often helped strangers on the road because once, long ago, a stranger had helped his family during their darkest time. He told her about losing his sister, about the guilt he carried, and how helping people made him feel closer to her memory. Lena listened quietly, tears slipping from her eyes, though she tried to hide them. When they reached the small town, she directed him to a white cottage with a blue gate. The moment they pulled in, an older woman burst out the front door, her hands shaking, her face bright with relief. "My baby, my daughter," she cried as she pulled Lena into her arms. Daniel stepped back, realizing this wasn't just a random house, it was home. The older woman hugged him, thanking him over and over, but Daniel insisted he didn't need anything. Then Lena approached him, her eyes soft and grateful. "There's something I didn't tell you," she said quietly. "I wasn't running away from my life, I was running back to it. I left an abusive marriage months ago. Last night a broken bar he found me again. I escaped just before he came home." She took a shaky breath. "You saved me and my baby from going back to that nightmare." Daniel felt a lump rise in his throat. "I didn't save you," he said. "You saved yourself. I just gave a ride." She shook her head. "No, a broken bar. You were the first person in months who made me feel safe, the first person who didn't question my fear, the first person who didn't judge me." She placed her hand on his. "You gave me hope again." The baby suddenly giggled, reaching a tiny hand toward Daniel's sleeve. He smiled and let him grab it gently. Before he left, Lena pressed a small folded paper into his hand. "Open it when you're back on the road." Daniel didn't open it until he was miles away. When he finally unfolded the paper, he froze. His heart thumped. Inside was a note, a broken bar and a check with more zeros than he had ever seen. He almost pulled over from shock. The note read, "Daniel, you didn't just help a stranger, you helped the daughter of someone who has been searching for months. My mother is the founder of the Lena Foundation, a broken bar, and now, so are you. This isn't payment, this is a thank you for being the kind of man the world needs more of. Use it for your dreams. You deserve it." Daniel stared at the letter, speechless. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had no idea that the quiet, terrified woman who knocked on his truck door in the middle of a stormy broken bar was actually the daughter of a global philanthropist, a woman known for rescuing others even while she needed rescuing herself. And it all happened because he chose kindness when it would have been easier to keep driving. For the rest of his life, he would say this, "Sometimes, the people we save end up saving us too." And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because stories like this remind us that kindness still matters, and the world needs to hear more of them.